Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Simplex Vanquish Knockdown. In today's video, we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty. We're going to start off with some recovery speed and iron discrimination tests. Then we're going to move on to the ultimate test, the Virginia Dirt Box. After that, we'll wrap up and come to our final conclusions and decide which one of these two detectors wins the day. So let's jump right into it. And before we go, please like and subscribe. Thanks. Okay, so I've set up some coins here on the board. A dime at 36 inches, the quarter at 28 inches, the nickel at 21 inches. You'll see that they are just within in the coil on this machine. And we want to see if we'll get 3 signals out of this as we pass it over. Will it recover in time to pick up the next signal? So let's try that. And the answer is yes. This is in Part 2 mode, which is the fastest mode. Let's see what it does in field mode. Okay, it works at slow speed, see? But as soon as I speed it up, it misses them entirely. Alright, so let's go into Part 2 again. And I'm getting... Okay, I have to go pretty darn fast to get it to lose it. Alright, let's move these in closer together. That's so... There we go. Now this is well... Now all 3 of them are inside the coil. Yeah, it's double hitting, but it is separating all of them. Okay, if I come in... Alright, so let's see how the Vanquish does with this test. Okay, so we are now in jewelry mode. But let's change that. Let's go to the Vanquish's fastest mode. That's coin mode. And let's separate these out again to where we were. Okay. I'm going to turn the sensitivity down a little bit, just to quieten it down. And I can go pretty darn fast and get a separate signal for each one of these. Let's try it in relic mode. Starts to lose it at really high speed, but I'm still getting it. Okay, let's try it in jewelry mode. Alright, I'm going to go back to coin mode now. I'm going to move these closer together. Okay, speeding up, still getting it. Very fast. See if we can get it to fail. Yeah, okay, but you're not swinging that speed ever anyway. Okay, so both, let's try this in relic mode. We didn't try it this close in relic mode. Okay, it has trouble in relic mode. Still getting it at slow speed. but at high speed, just one signal. Of course, you're not searching for coins in relic mode generally anyway, but this is jewelry mode. Okay, so both machines did pretty well with that test. They both were more than adequate on speed. All right, so now we're going to we're going to put some nails in here and see how these machines do at picking these coins out from amongst iron. Okay, here we go. So I'm set up. I'm still in Park 2 mode on the Simplex, and I have the metal volume at full so we can hear the grunt of the iron. Let's hear what it sounds like. Okay, it's giving me a reading of 4 for these two nails, and that's what an iron grunt sounds like with this machine. Now we're going to put a quarter in the middle, see if it picks up the quarter. Well, it's getting something. As I get further away, I'm getting a reading of, it's bouncing around, it's very inconsistent. 24, 33, 22, 29, 31, 23, 21, so it's very inconsistent. And you can definitely hear the iron grunt. Not sure if you dig that or not. You might be curious enough to dig it. All right, let's do that with it. No, doesn't like that at all. See, if you go cross with it, now it's picking it up with just one nail. But you try it, you're not digging that. Not at all. Okay, let's see if we get a difference in one of the other modes. Just for grins, let's try Park 1. Again, we're just getting the iron grunt. In field mode. Okay, field mode has, no, it's not notched out. Oh, I guess it is notched out. Iron is notched out in field mode. Let's go all metal. And you're just getting the iron with this. How about this way? Okay, has trouble with that. Let's try the Vanquish. Okay, back with the Vanquish. It's in jewelry mode, but I've got it in all metal mode with a low iron bias, so we should hear the grunts. Let's turn that volume up a bit so you can hear it. It's giving me a reading of 2. And that's an iron grunt. Let's see if it can pick the quarter out from the middle of that. Okay, we are getting a diggable signal here. It's showing me a 22, bouncing around a little bit. Quarters with this machine normally read out at a 29 or a 30. So you're not reading accurately what it is, but you are picking out a diggable signal from that. All right, let's try it. This test. This one, the Simplex failed miserably. Let's see how the Vanquish does with it. And that is also a fail. So when you run along the nail, that's what you're going to hear. You go back and forth. Now I got a 34. Yeah, I'm picking up the tripod over there. You get a signal that way, but you don't get a signal this way. So it's not just these two machines. All these machines would have difficulty with this test. That's a big honking piece of nail there. And when you run lengthwise along the nail, you're not going to hear anything but the iron. Okay, so they both did about the same on that test. They both were able to pick it out. Okay, so that's it for this test. The next test is going to be our dirt test, and I'm going to set up for that, and we'll see how they do. Okay, we're ready to start dirt testing. I've set up a test bed here. I call this the Virginia Dirt Box. You may have seen one of these things before. I'm not the first person to come up with this idea of filling a box with dirt and putting tubes through it at different depths so that you can test how these things do on real soil. But the difference here is that this one is filled with good old Virginia red clay. That's why it's called the Virginia Dirt Box. Virginia red clay the reason it's red is it's filled with iron, and it's very highly mineralized. Some of the most mineralized soil you'll have to detect in plays havoc with metal detectors, and we're going to see how these two machines deal with that. So what we have here now is a few items we're going to test. We're going to test a quarter, a dime, a nickel, a penny, and an 18-karat gold ladies ring. And we'll run them at different depths, and we'll see how these two machines do. Both machines are set up in their deepest modes. In the case of the Simplex, that's field mode, and it's at its highest sensitivity. The Vanquish is going to be in relic mode, and it will also be at its highest sensitivity. So let me turn the volume back on here. All right, and we'll start with the quarter. This is at 4 inches. Okay, getting a good strong signal, reading 90, 91, 92. So that's a strong signal. Now let's try it at 6 inches. Okay, still getting a good strong signal. Reading 86, 87. Definitely a diggable signal there. 6 inches. Now let's try 8 inches. Okay, I'm still getting a reading. 75, and it disappears. Very scratchy. Not sure if you dig that or not. Sounds a lot like interference, so I don't know. I'm gonna be generous and say 8 inches for the quarter. But really, in reality, it's probably more like 7 inches to get a decent enough signal that you'd actually dig. Okay, let's try the dime. Okay. Good signal, reading 75, 76. Okay, let's try 6 inches. Now it's reading 70, 72. Still a good signal though. Trying to tell me it's 8 inches down though. Okay, let's try 8 inches. Not getting any reading at all. Okay, so 6 inches on the dime. Okay, nickel. Okay, here we are at 4 inches. Nice strong signal. 30, 31, 32. Okay, let's try 6 inches. Okay, jumping around a little bit on the signal, as low as 26, as high as 50. But still getting a good signal, telling me that it's 6 inches down. Let's try 8 inches. Not getting a good signal on it. It is squeaking a little bit. 67, 31, 55, doesn't know what it has. Telling me it's 8 to 10 inches deep. Alright, well, we're going to be generous and say okay for 8 inches on the nickel. Okay, penny. Back to 4 inches. Getting a good signal, 66, 67. Okay, 6 inches. Good signal, 66, 67. Still reading it very nicely. Okay, 8 inches. Okay, it's getting it, but very scratchy. All right, we're going to call that, just for grins, let's try 10 inches. No. Okay. Penny, 8 inches. And the ring. That's what we're all interested in anyway, isn't it? Okay, telling me 22, 23, 25. Good strong signal. Let's try 6 inches. Same kind of readings. Nice strong signal. Try 8 inches. Okay, the numbers are bouncing around a little bit. Still getting it though, a little scratchy. Let's try 10 inches. No, nothing. 8 inches for the ring. Okay, let's bring out the Vanquish. Okay, now the Vanquish. Now I've turned the sensitivity down a bit because it was really chattering quite a bit, and that may be because of these. I have some power lines that are over here. I tried to run the noise canceling a couple times, and really wasn't helping much. So I turned the sensitivity down on this one 2 notches. So let's try the quarter. This may not be a fair test to the Vanquish, but we'll see what we get. Okay. Okay, beautiful song. Signal 2930, exactly what you expect at 4 inches. Let's try it at 6. Nice strong signal, still reading a 30. Let's try it at 8. Nice strong signal. And let's go down to 10. Okay, so I'm going to put the sensitivity back up for this one. Put up a little bit more chatter, but okay, so full up, we're getting a scratchy signal at 10 inches. Let's do the dime. .24, nice signal. The same numbers at 6 inches, nice strong signal. Starting to get a little scratchy. Numbers are jumping around a little bit. Let's turn up the sensitivity. Okay. 8 inches is a solid yes. Not really. Okay, so 8 inches on the dime. Okay, let's try the nickel. 4 inches. Solid 13, good signal. 6 inches. Again, solid 13, good signal. 8 inches. Solid. Still showing a 13. Okay. Go down to 10 inches. A little scratchy. Let's turn up the sensitivity back up again. And there it is. Jumping around a little bit, but still basically showing a 13. Okay, that's the nickel. 10 inches on the nickel. Penny. Giving me a 21. Very solid. Same 21, very solid. Now we're at 8 inches. Solid. Nice signal. Still getting it at 21 at 10 inches. It likes the zinc penny at 10 inches. Okay, and now the gold ring. Reading at 12. Didn't get more solid than that. Same reading at 12. Good solid signal. Now we're at 8 inches. Okay, solid signal at 8 inches. Let's try 10 inches. Still getting it, a little scratchy. Numbers are bouncing around, just for grins. Let's try it at 12 inches. Nada. Okay, 10 inches it is. Okay, so I'm going to put some numbers up on the screen here, but it seems pretty clear that just like the air test, the Vanquish goes considerably deeper than the Simplex. 10 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 10 inches, 10 inches, as opposed to 8 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 8 inches, 8 inches. So roughly a 2-inch delta in depth in highly mineralized soil. So that, I think that's a pretty good test, and tells us a lot about what these machines can do in real life. Okay, so we've done all the testing, and I think we're coming close to a decision on these two machines. But there is a couple other things to talk about, and they're what I call intangibles. Some of them are fairly subjective, so your mileage may vary. But there are a few minor things that I think give some points either way. Let's start with the Vanquish, I think, has better tones. It simply makes better tones. It really rings out at you when you find a target. It's very clear and easy to hear. The Simplex is a little scratchier and a little bit more difficult. Not that you can't get used to it, you certainly can. But for a beginner, this might be a better way to go, just based on the tones. Another intangible, okay, the Simplex. It's just a better looking machine, okay? You got to face it. It's a better looking machine. The Vanquish, as good as it is, when you're out there on the beach or in the field detecting with it, people will look at it and tend to think, is that a toy? Now, it's not a toy. It's a serious detector. But with this bright red coloring, and I think I know why they did that, because the Garrett entry-level machines, which have been very, very popular for a long time, are yellow. And so they came out with their red one. I kind of wish they'd done something else with it. It kind of looks toyish, whereas this is a nice looking machine. It looks as professional as any Equinox or XP Deus or Garrett or Fisher or whatever else you're looking at out there. It's a really nice looking machine. So I'm giving 5 points to Simplex, just basically on looks. The third thing is the warranty. Now, they both have warranties, and they're both good warranties, but there is a difference between them. The Simplex comes with a 2-year warranty, and the Vanquish comes with a 3-year warranty. Now, that is a difference, and they both, by all accounts, have good service. I believe that the Vanquish Service Center is in Pennsylvania, and the Nokta Makro Service Center is in Georgia. You send your machine to them. From what I can understand, I haven't had experience with either of them, but they get them right back to you, and they're very good about servicing their machines. So as far as points, 3 points for 3 years, 2 points for 2 years. So that's all my intangibles. I think we're about ready to sit down and wrap this up. So let's do that. Okay, for this one I needed to sit down. So we're going to wrap this up now, and we're going to kind of go through everything we've talked about and everything I've shown you and come up with a final conclusion. And I suspect that anyone who's been watching this whole video knows where this is going. But let's go down the list of scores. So on price, because there is a minor difference between the two of them in price, I give a half a point to the Simplex. On build quality, they're very similar in build quality, but the Vanquish edges out the Simplex 2 points to 1.5 points. On ergonomics, ease of use, the Vanquish has it all over the Simplex. It really does. It's so much easier to use. Not that this can't be easy to use once you get used to it and once you learn it, but when you pull it out of the box and you want to go detecting out of the box and you're a beginner, this one is much easier to use. On the feature set, they both have features that the other one doesn't have. For instance, this is multi-IQ, and this is a single frequency, and we kind of covered all of that. But on the points, the Vanquish gets 1.5 points, and the Simplex gets 2.25 points. Now we get down to the meat of this thing, is on the tests. And so what I've done is I have put most of the points on the tests. And so in the air test, there was just no question the Vanquish kind of spanked the Simplex. There's just no other way of saying it. 24 points on the air test to 3 points for the Simplex. On separation and discrimination, it was a push between them. They're both perfectly adequate, and no difference that I could really discern between them. On the dirt box test, again, the Vanquish really spanked the Simplex. I mean, there's just no question that in the mineralized soil that we have here in Virginia, the Vanquish does a much better job. I suspect in the dirt box test, or in a real life test and you were not in mineralized soil, they might be a lot closer. But in these conditions, and we're talking on the beach, in places like Virginia where the soil is very mineralized, the Vanquish is far superior. So the Vanquish gets 10 points and the Simplex gets none. And then there's the intangibles, and we went over that. And the Vanquish accrued 6 points in intangibles, and the Simplex accrued 7. And that brings us to a total score, and it's almost embarrassing, but that brings us to a total score of 46 for the Vanquish and 14.25 for the Simplex. I think it's clear from this and from all these tests that not only is the Vanquish a better machine for a beginner, but the Vanquish is a better machine all round. And I'm really shocked at these results. I'm really surprised. You know, I've been watching videos of the Simplex, and people just raving about it, you know, doing their own tests and just raving about it and comparing it to things like the Equinox and the XP Deus and some of the other, and the AT Pro from Garrett, and saying that it's a comparable machine to all of those. That may be true. I don't know. I don't think it is true, because it can't touch the Vanquish, which leads me to believe it can't touch an Equinox either. Can't vouch for the Garrett. I haven't had any Garretts in here yet. I do plan to bring some Garretts in to compare with the Vanquish, and we'll see how they look. But for my money, if you're a beginner or an advanced beginner or even an intermediate metal detectorist, and you're looking for an inexpensive detector that can compete with the big boys, the Vanquish is the right machine. The Simplex looks the part, and it's a fine detector. And I think that once you get used to it, you can make it work, but it can't touch the Vanquish. That's all there is to it. Well, that's all I have for you. Thanks so much for watching, and please like and subscribe. Smash that like button for me if you would. It really helps out. And subscribe. I'm going to put a little thing up here somewhere about subscribing, and hit the bell so that you are notified when new content comes out. I am planning to do a number more of these tests. Next one I'm gonna try and bring in is the new Garrett Apex, and run that one against the Vanquish. And I'm going to be doing other videos on equipment and accessories that all metal detectorists need and not too many people talk about. So that's all coming up. Also, my hunts. Hopefully, I can get a card up here somewhere. My last 2 videos. Especially video number 2 is fairly amusing. Be sure to stay in it long enough for the wrap. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, happy digging.